Good evening and welcome everyone to Meaningful Monday. Here we are for Meaningful Monday for May. Gee, this year has gone faster than I ever thought it would. So for all the new people, a very, very warm welcome. We do have some brand new people here with us. So just that I can frame this up for you. Meaningful Monday is, as you know, a free webinar on the first Monday of every month. And the purpose is really just to raise people's awareness and equip them with any information that helps you improve your life, remove yourself from a victim mentality, come to the awareness that you create your own life every second of the day, regardless of whether you're aware of it or not. So this is to help you become more and more aware of how you create your own life, your own happiness, your own joy, your own success, your own good health, good relationships, abundance, everything. We are creating it. So tonight the topic is, let me share my screen so that you can follow the presentation. Let's go. All right. So the topic is the 8 best ways to maintain a healthy brain. So while all of your microphones are on unmute, why do you think this is important? Why do you think it's important to know how to maintain a healthy brain and to actually actively maintain a healthy brain? Let's go. Unmute your mics and talk to me.
Because your brain can grow all the time, and it can support your joy, your health, your growth, your learning, it can improve the quality of your life when your brain grows with you. That's my understanding.
Thank you, Liesl. Spot on. Couldn't be more well said. That is exactly right. The reason that we need to be conscious of a healthy brain and not just live our lives and think, well, I've got to eat and I've got to maybe exercise from time to time. And we actually got to be conscious about maintaining a healthy brain because, as Liesl said, your brain can grow. That's very true. So the brain is actually what we call neuroplasticity, says that your brain is like plastic. It continuously changes and reshapes and reforms and develops itself all the time. So if you neglect the use of your brain, it actually changes shape and form and rapidly declines and can end up in mental illness. Oh, I've got some more participants. Let me just let these people in. Okay. I'm just going to put the mics on mute. It's just a little bit noisy, but you can unmute yourself at any time. And when Liesl was saying all our joy, all our health, all our growth, all our learning, our quality of life, this is absolutely true. The brain is the organ from which all thought originates. And this is important because everything in your life begins with a thought. Some of you here, like Alejandra, is on a mastermind with me at the moment. We're doing As a Man Thinketh, and the whole book is about thoughts. Everything starts with a thought. Your whole life, everything, from your health to your relationships to your success to your failure, everything. So it's really important that we do look at the health of the organ itself from which thought originates. Just think about your brain as a computer. If you had a computer full of viruses and old software that doesn't run well, there's such a limited amount of things you could do with that computer as compared to a computer it's in perfect health, got no viruses and the latest software. It can perform amazing things and really fast and really well and very accurately, smooth running, no frustration. It's the same with your brain. So, when we say everything originates from a thought, if you want a great life, you've got to make sure that the organ from which all your thoughts are produced, all your feelings, all your beliefs, all your values, all your opinions, all your perspectives, most importantly, your attitude, even your dreams and goals originate from the thoughts out of your brain. So really an important place to begin thinking about How can I improve my life? Well, let's talk about how healthy are you looking after your brain. So let's have a look what we have here. First of all, I want to start off by saying that the information that I'm going to share with you tonight comes from this book. If you can see my camera, let me see my own camera because I can't see myself. Here we go. This book, How God Changes Your Brain, is written by two neuroscientists, Andrew Newberg and Mark Waldman. And for those of you who may not know, I'm a certified trainer of the Silver Method. It's a personal development program. And these neuroscientists have actually worked with Silver International some time ago in the past. Good relationship between us, and the Silver Method is based on neuroscience. So I just love the content that comes from this book. It's a fantastic book. Now, it says how God changes your brain. The book's not really about God as such. You don't even have to believe in God to really enjoy the book. It's more about the brain actually changes when it has something to believe in. And it says why meditation and prayer is important. Well, they've got here, studies have proven that if you take the most conservative assessments of hundreds of medical, neurological, physiological studies on religion, they have the same conclusions when they do these studies. The one is that activities involving meditation and intensive prayer permanently strengthen neural functioning. The brain actually changes itself in such a way that the way it rewires itself from neural pathways that it causes it to lower anxiety and depression. It actually enhances social awareness. It also increases empathy. It improves cognitive ability as well as intellectual functioning. So they did hundreds of studies of different types of exercises and activities, and they found that meditation or intensive prayer is really incredibly beneficial for your brain, and therefore the whole book was written about what's different about people who either meditate or pray. They have some religion and they have some belief. So they just say, like, is it important to believe in something, whether it's God or something else? Or if you're an atheist, what do they believe in? And it really did some interesting connections as to how the brain actually improves for the better and kind of lifts a person's whole perspective out of a place of worry, doubt, fear, and anxiety into a place of faith, and how the brain changes. And there's an interesting, I can't get into it now, it's too long, but there's an interesting piece of information we're doing in the current mastermind called the 7 levels of character. And as a person's character goes up the levels from the most lowest level of a person who's a runaway or a quitter, right up to the top, where a person's at the most spiritual version of themselves in that form of character, you find that as you go up, faith is something you get at the upper levels. People who struggle with doubt, fear, worry, anxiety, they quit, they give up, they are addicts, they have cravings, they tend to accumulate things and have all kinds of obsessive behaviors, are people who actually don't have any faith. So there's a massive difference in the wiring of the brain itself when you actually practice something of faith versus someone who doesn't. And that's how the whole book is written. Now, we're not getting into all of that tonight. Tonight we're going to focus on one of the chapters in this book, which is the 8 best things to do for a healthy brain. So meditation and prayer is certainly one of them, but we're going to be looking at a whole other 7 techniques. And we're also going to look at what didn't make the list. So they've also said here the neurocircuits that get activated by meditating actually buffer you from the effects of aging and stress. I love this because if you look at people who really do meditate a lot, they look younger than the people on average of their own age. Even Ken Kosher, the global trainer of the Silver Method, the guy looks to me like he's in his early 50s, at the most 55. The guy's in his mid-70s. Deepak Chopra is in his mid-80s, I think. He looks fantastic. So there is a relationship between reversing the aging physically on the body and meditation, a direct link there, and stress. This has to be the best de-stress technique out of everything in the world. Absolutely 100% hands down is meditation. There is nothing that helps to reverse stress in your life and train you to become a person who's not stressed and a person who doesn't go into anxiety, which over a prolonged period of time leads to depression, is meditation. And the other thing that meditation does is it gives you better control over your emotions. That's why people who do meditate every day tend to cope better with life, and they tend to deal with their emotions better. And going back to that 7 levels of character, you find that the lower levels out of the 7, let's say the lower 4, are very emotionally battered around by life. They are always controlled by their emotions. They fly off the handle. They lose their temper. They're angry. They're upset. They're frustrated. It's all an emotional turmoil. And when you find the upper levels of character where people have more faith and they're more spiritual, they tend to live more peacefully and calmly, and they manage their emotions as opposed to the emotions managing them. So meditation is right up on the list there, which we'll come to again. So what didn't make the list? Well, drugs and medication definitely didn't make the list, and that's just quite obvious because there's always one benefit to a tablet, and I can promise you there are at least 50 negative side effects, and they're not good for your brain. There is not a single drug that you can take that doesn't have some negative side effect. Even if it's an antidepressant, it's doing something to stop the rest of something else. And I know some people need it, and I'm not a doctor and I'm not a psychiatrist, so I'm not advocating that. What I am advocating is if you can make a concerted effort with intention to help with the improvement of your own brain health and physical well-being through taking active steps in your life, I can absolutely guarantee you'll come off any medication that you think you need to cope with. And when it comes to chronic illness type medication, again, I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you, I've got my own Silver Method students come off diabetes medication permanently. Nancy, who works for me, she's had medication for years and years and years for rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune disorder, stopped taking the medication after doing the Silver Method within 6 months, got off it, never went back on it again, and never suffered. So we know that mind-body connection is very, very strong, and more people are becoming aware, and the more aware they become, the more they're helping themselves get off medication. So I'm definitely an advocate for mind-body healing, and I've got some extraordinary stories that I know of people who've healed themselves using the mind alone. So that's definitely not going to be on the list for brain health is pills. The next one is food. Well, food's important. It's certainly good for your health. However, it's hard to isolate food and the effect on the brain and how the nutrients and your metabolism all works together. The other thing is, even if you eat very, very well, but you cannot control your negative thoughts, you are still going to be unwell. So no matter how healthy you eat, if your thoughts are unhealthy, you will be what your thoughts are, not what your food is. You will be unhealthy. So food is there, but it hasn't got a direct relationship on your brain, whereas managing your thoughts, like through meditation or prayer or something, does. Sleep's very important. Sleep is extremely important, not very, extremely important. The reason it's not on the list is because it's not the quantity of sleep that's good for the brain. It's the quality of sleep that's good for the brain. So why meditation is so good is meditation puts you in something called the alpha level. The alpha level is when your brain waves are the most stable. It's between about 8 to 12 cycles per second. That's in terms of hertz. Sorry, I'm just letting people in who are joining. Welcome everybody who's just joined. So meditation puts you in the alpha level, and alpha is the most important brainwave state to regenerate the body and regenerate the mind. So when we talk about sleep, it's not that you need hours and hours of sleep, because I could give you sleeping pills and do that to you every night, and you really wouldn't have a healthy brain whatsoever. In fact, it would deteriorate quite significantly on sleeping tablets. Even if you slept 10 hours a night, it's because when you take sleeping tablets, you drop right through alpha, through theta, which is the next deep sleep state, right into delta, the deepest sleep state, like when you're in an anesthetic. And you stay in delta the whole night until you come out with sleeping pills. So you miss that alpha level. That alpha level is also called your REM sleep during the dream state. And that's where you regenerate your brain and regenerate your body and your immune system. So listen to this very important study, and how important the right sleep is, and not just any sleep, is to sleep properly without the use of tablets and naturally without disturbance the whole night, because disturbance is the problem. They took rats, and rats, let me just let someone else in. Apologies for being a little bit distracted. Rats live about 2 to 3 years. This is terrible. I don't like people doing any tests whatsoever on animals. I'm completely opposed to it. So even to make the statistic upsets me, but it just has to make a point. Rats live 2 to 3 years. If you interrupt their alpha sleep every night, even if it's just once or twice, they only live 5 weeks. So just work that out. If they live 5 weeks and they're supposed to live about 100 to 150 weeks, and they're only living 5 weeks because the alpha sleep has been disturbed. Imagine what your life and your aging, physically aging the body and the brain, is deteriorating terribly by not having the right sleep. So sleep can't make the list here, because it's not just about sleep, it's about specifically alpha. You people know if you don't get enough sleep, your cognitive ability is completely gone. You behave after just 1 or 2 nights of lack of sleep, you behave like, or you feel like a person who's drunk. You actually can't think properly, you get the shivers, you feel dizzy from time to time, you just can't focus, you get into a bad mood, eventually become highly irritable towards aggressive if you don't get the sleep. So sleep's not on the list because it's got to be the right sleep, but it is very, very, very important. Okay, so let the countdown begin. We're going to have 8 things that are very good for the brain. Let's work backwards. Number 8 is smile. So smile. I'm going to smile now. This is such a simple technique, but yet it's very, very effective. Now, and I see Yolanta smiling. Very good, Yolanta. You make me smile. So they've actually done fMRI scans of the brain, and if you can just watch me on the video for a second, they found that if they took a pen and they made a person just bite the pen, and they took the brain scan, the muscles are the same as when you smile, like that. And they actually found that the brain started to release all good chemicals and endorphins and things that are anti-stress hormones and very good things like that. When they took the pen and without any context and told the people to hold it between their nose and their upper lip, they automatically frowned. So you try to hold your pen between your nose and your upper lip. The way your muscles pull, it's like you're frowning immediately. Without context, stress chemicals started to be released by the brain. So even if you don't have any reason to smile, but you just walk around with a small smile on your face, you actually have less stress. Your brain just changes by the changing of the muscle structure of the face and just releases the right chemicals. So when it comes to smiling, all I can say is just put it on your face. Wear it like you wear a garment. Just wear a smile. It's so healthy for you. And a small relax automatically makes the brain relax, because it's like, I'm safe, I'm healthy, I'm happy, everything's okay. Also, smiling repetitively helps to interrupt mood disorders. It also strengthens the brain's neural ability to maintain a positive outlook on life. So people who tend to smile a lot generally are more optimistic than people who don't. And it's so important. I cannot tell you how important optimism is. Optimism can honestly be the difference between a really happy, wonderful life and an awfully difficult, painful, and stressful life. Is just having that perspective of the glass half full all the time. There's a good thing, good reason that anything happens is what you think. Everything happens for a good reason. You never look at the bad side of everything, complain about everything, find something wrong with everything. People have something right with everything, are generally happy, and they live really good lives, and they're actually healthy and they look great. There's actually in Buddhism a smiling meditation, which is quite interesting. Also, people, when they smile around you, they make you feel calmer and they make you feel better. You also find that you'll exude more empathy and people will respond to you with more kindness if you're carrying a smile. The other thing is smiling is contagious. So you know when you walk down the road, a random stranger, you don't even know them, if you make eye contact and you smile, they smile, their whole face lights up. So I'm encouraging you from tomorrow, walk past strangers, don't look the other way, don't look down, catch their eye contact and make the first smile. You honestly, it costs nothing. You can brighten someone's day. We have no idea what anyone's going through when we walk past them. We may never speak to them, but truly a smile to a stranger can just brighten their day. It honestly can. And the other interesting thing, which is just interesting, is that women are more susceptible than men in having smiles being contagious. I found that quite interesting. So it has so many benefits for the brain. It stimulates brain circuitry, which also enhances social interaction. I spoke about empathy and mood. And then on the opposite side, frowning or looking at a frowning face actually stimulates feelings of anger, disgust, and dislike. So really, really bad. Now, if you think about smiling, some people say, well, what about laughing? Well, this is quite interesting. Laughing stimulates completely different neural paths. And laughing does not make it onto the list of how to maintain a healthy brain. Why? Because it stimulates the amygdala. The amygdala is the back of the brain, the limbic brain, the brain stem, which is the more primitive brain, which is related to fear, the fight and flight response, or being, having discomfort. So the reason is, sometimes when you get a very bad fright, you sometimes laugh out of stress, or you're shocked, and then some people laugh, or they see something bad happen, and they laugh, and they don't know why they laughed. It's a kind of reaction the body does to reduce anxiety. So that's why if laughing stimulates that part of the brain, it's not really going to help the brain. What we need to do is more the mid and the front part of the brain, which smiling, which definitely is different to laughing. Because of your smile, you make life more beautiful. So true. The same person here also had another quote, which is, if we are not able to smile, then the world would not have peace. I really love that. Okay, right, number 7. Number 7 is to stay intellectually active. So this is so important to strengthen neural connections in the brain to help us communicate effectively, to help us solve problems in our lives, be more creative, because creativity and problem solving are related, and also to help us make better decisions and to rationalize. So nearly every age-related cognitive disability is related to the functioning of the frontal lobe. I'll say that again. All or the majority, almost every brain-related disability, so any brain disease or brain ill health, is related to the functioning of the frontal lobes, because it's important to exercise that part of the cortex, because the neocortex of the brain has more connections going on there than any other part of the brain. So the best way to improve that kind of cognitive function and to exercise the brain to keep it healthy and prevent any brain disease is by playing strategy games. So there's a picture there, playing chess, memory games, spatial games, visual games, doing IQ tests, even if they're not the real thing, but kind of that's simulated. So the more intense and the more frequent that you play these games, the greater the cognitive gain. The other thing is quite interesting. The more we have intellectual stimulation in any form, really, It lowers a person's propensity to react with anger or fear. This I found really interesting. So when you're doing any kind of exercise for the brain, also try and do it quickly, because speedy intellectual reasoning also helps maintain a healthy brain. So do anything that stimulates the brain. Read books that are stimulating, not just silly story novels, but actually books that teach you something, that you learn, that you have to retain, you have to concentrate. Audio books, watch educational and science channels on TV if you want to watch something. Take a class, do a course, attend a lecture, do a mastermind, play chess, as I said. Things like that. What's interesting is people, because this book's about how God changes the brain, it says people who engage in religious or spiritual discussions or debates or issues or problem solving, very good for stimulating the brain. Even people who read scriptures and reflect on the meaning of them and discuss these issues, like with other people, or maybe they discuss other issues in life, like, issues facing humanity. They are really outstanding ways of activating complex circuits in the brain. And that's what we mean by number 7. We want to activate complex circuits, which is then in the frontal lobes of the brain, very good for brain health. Now, this is part of number 7, video games. Boy, I cannot tell you how bad video games is. If you get into the neuroscience of it, it is absolutely one of the worst things you can be doing to your brain. So if you've got kids, please share this with them, that they understand the destructive effects of playing video games, or any friends that you know doing it. So the one thing is, the more you do it, the more aggressive you'll become. There's so many studies that have got a relationship between kids who show very aggressive behavior, even those related to the shooting incidences in America, those guys who just went to shoot at schools and things like that. A lot of this crazy behavior was related to kids who were on video games most of the day. Also, a person's coping skills are significantly reduced. The frontal lobe functioning declines. Why? Because if you're playing these video games, you're always on adrenaline. So you're on the fight or flight response. So you keep activating the limbic brain, the amygdala. You keep activating your stress response center of the brain. And if you keep flowing blood there, it's like you're exercising it. When you're off the game, that part of your brain is so like hot or, pumped up, that it'll look for things in life to keep that kind of activation going, and that's why it becomes aggressive, because it wants that stimulation, and you can't really drive that behavior out of a person through a conversation. They have to stop activating that. So that's why using the frontal lobes is so different. It brings the blood right forward to the front of the brain. If you think about ADD, video games really does exacerbate attention deficit problems. Also causes dependency issues and addictive behavior in children and in adolescents. So, tell everyone you know this. This is really quite scary. All right. I love this quote, one of my favorite quotes of Napoleon Hill: what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. So, in simple terms, when we say what the mind can conceive, it means we're putting a picture in our mind, a visual picture, repeatedly making an impression, using our imagination or visualization. That's what we mean what the mind can conceive. It can see that picture over and over again. With more repetition and with more emotion, over time, that becomes a new belief. The minute you have a new belief, you will manifest that thing into your life. We create our beliefs, and then we keep proving them back to ourselves in our life. So whatever you believe is going to be your life experience. So the more often you imagine what you want, the more likely you are to actually achieve it. And this is really what we do in the Silver Method. So the Silver Method is a 4-day dynamic meditation program, for those of you who may not know what it is. I did the Silver Method myself about 10 years ago, and it changed my life so significantly. I dedicate my life to training it for the rest of my life, to as many people as I can. And here's the founder, Jose Silva, and he says the greatest discovery you'll ever make is the potential of your own mind. And it's so true. All your success, all your failure, all your health, all your illness stems from the mind. So in the Silva method, we use visualization. So for yourselves in your life, when you think about using your mind to create what you want and you visualize, just add a note to that. It's got to be with emotion. Emotion, E-motion, is energy in motion. The more emotion you feel, the more you're actually creating a new belief for your benefit to help you create what you want. Okay, so that was number 7, staying intellectually active. Now we're on to number 6, to consciously relax. To consciously relax definitely does not mean taking a nap, because that's not conscious. This means that you're deliberately using your brain, you're deliberately scanning every part of your body, and with intention, you are reducing the muscle tension, and you are creating relax. So every part of your body, you scan it from the top of your head all the way down to your toes. When you do this, it has a calming effect. It just helps to release chemicals which dissolve stress chemicals. So you release hormones which immediately dissolve stress chemicals. This is like in the Silva method, there's a technique called the long relax, where we just use the mind to relax the body from head to toe. And it takes about 25 minutes. It is so effective, it's equivalent to 4 hours of natural sleep for the mind and the body. So for anybody who wants it, you can download it for free. At the bottom there of the slide, it says download the Silva Method Long Relax from the website, silvamethodaustralia.com.au. There's a video there. It's hard to scroll down. It's halfway down the page. Please watch the video first. It's only 3 or 4 minutes. It's an instructional video, which you do need to watch so that you just get the maximum benefits out of it. So consciously relaxing is so important for the brain, because you think about it, people can relax their bodies by massage, by heat, by creams, deep heat, something like that. Ultraviolet light, not ultraviolet, what's it called? Ultrasound, sorry, to relax the body. Now imagine that you can get the same effect just using your mind, that you can take a very tense and stiff, wound up body and actually relax it with your mind. So as you're doing this, you lower stress, you improve your heart, you lower your blood pressure, you will reduce pain, you will have less chance of falling ill, you improve the immune system, and the long relax specifically, it accelerates healing. If you're unwell or you've got any illness or chronic condition, I would say do the long relax a minimum of once a day. If you're really unwell, 3 times a day. Whatever you've got, I can promise you, you will feel a lot better the more you do it. And if you are feeling like you're getting sick, do the long relax, you'll get better much quicker. Okay, the next one is very, very interesting and a little bit funny. It's to yawn. Who would have ever thought that yawning is good for the brain? Well, it's a funny one, isn't it? It's one of the best kept secrets in neuroscience. They use yawning actually for voice therapy. Before a person goes to speak, to reduce performance anxiety, they force them to yawn. So while you're listening to this right now, just try yawn, try force it. Look at the picture of the little baby. If you look at it long enough and try to copy it, see if you can create a yawn. If you fake it like 5 times or so, you'll eventually have a true, real yawn. Well, it's interesting. Brain scans have shown that yawning evokes a unique neural activity in the area of the brain that's directly involved in generating social awareness and creating feelings of empathy. The sad thing is that there's a stigma attached to yawning in society, and we've been kind of conditioned that it's rude. I always tell my Silva graduates when you come to class, if you want to yawn, you yawn all you want. I'm not offended by anyone yawning because I understand from this book that it's such a good thing for the brain. So we often yawn when we're tired, yes, you might need some sleep, but on the other hand, we also yawn when we are exposed to light, because yawning also helps a person wake up. The interesting thing about yawning is why we yawn when we're tired is when we yawn, what happens in the brain is it immediately and quickly brings you to a heightened state of cognitive awareness. Now, they found that students yawn in class, not because they're bored, although they may be bored if there's a very bad, boring lecturer, it may be that, but also because it rids the brain of sleepiness and it puts the brain into a state of alertness very quickly. The other thing a yawn does is it regulates the temperature and metabolism of the brain. This is also interesting. Dogs yawn before attacking because it makes them more clear and sharp focused. Olympic athletes yawn before performing. Also very interesting. They are on peak performance after a yawn. They found that yawning also releases dopamine, and that activates oxytocin, which is very good for memory recall. So many reasons that you should yawn. Increases empathy, social awareness, enhances pleasure, good for memory, lowers stress, relaxes the body, improves the cognitive function. So many people say, oh, I'm not tired, I can't just yawn like that. Well, if you do fake it, 5 or 6 times, you'll find that you can actually yawn. So when I first understood this, I realized that often when I meditate in the morning, I find myself yawning, and I wanted to suppress it before, like, why am I yawning? I should be focused and meditating. But it says in the book, the best way to meditate is when you keep yawning as you're doing it, even that your eyes water. So now that I meditate, I yawn and I embrace it, and I give it the biggest yawn I can, and I hold it as wide and big as possible for as long as I can. I just love it. Okay, so now just a point at the bottom. Before you give a public talk, or before you take a test, or even before you meditate or pray, yawn. Your eyes may water a little bit, your nose may run, but you'll feel incredibly relaxed and highly alert. So really good. And interesting, yawns are so contagious that even dogs can catch them. So they say this happens when a dog experiences emotional contagion. So in other words, if a dog catches your yawn, it's a sign that they're on the same page as you. They kind of empathizing with you. Okay, number 4, meditate. We started the presentation talking about meditation. Well, it's up at number 4, so really important. Meditation enhances your spirituality. Even if you have no religion or you've got no idea clearly what you believe in, but you do seek some spiritual growth or some spiritual enhancement in your life somehow, some way, and even if you're not sure, I can promise you, if you meditate daily and keep practicing, you will find yourself becoming more spiritual. Whatever it will change for you, it will be right for you, but you will find a place and a connection to something you cannot explain that just improves your life so significantly. It just brings you a state of calm. It just makes you feel connected to something amazing. If you practice long enough, you even get a tingling sensation on your body. It's a state that you want to stay in. It feels so good. So definitely related to spiritual experience. The other thing is when you meditate, you are dissolving stress chemicals as you do it. The other thing is you release other neurochemicals which are pleasure enhancing, and they also decrease depression. They have proven that a person can completely recover from depression by meditation and exercise. If you can't do both and only did meditation, you could still get rid of depression. Now, isn't that interesting? And what's also fascinating is that meditation causes the brain to release serotonin and dopamine. Really important for making us feel good. So the better we feel, the less we rely on other things in our life to feel good, like incorrect eating or sugar or smoking or alcohol, things like that. 10 to 15 minutes of meditation have significantly positive effects on your brain cognition, also on relaxation and on psychological health. And it's also been shown that people who meditate about 15 minutes a day reduce their smoking and they also reduce drinking behavior. They did a test in the University of Kentucky. They took some students in groups and they did some tests with them. They made a certain group do a 40-minute meditation, and they found that those ones did better than those who took a nap or who exercised. So if you want to do better in a test, meditate for 10 to 15 minutes in the hour before your test. Okay. The next one. Oh, here's a quote. Creative visualization may be described as an extended meditation session that reaches beyond passive contemplation and achieves a transformative action. The uses to which it may be applied are limited only by the individual's imagination. So in the Silver Method, which is a really fantastic program and all scientifically proven, we go into a state of meditation, and then we use the mind to visualize. We use mental rehearsal, guided imagery. And it's a form of self-hypnosis, because if you can see a movie in your mind of you doing something you want to do, or achieving something you want to achieve, or being more healthy, or being more happy, or having the relationship that you want, or whatever it may be, you actually are activating it and making impressions on the subconscious mind as if it's real. Because the subconscious mind can't distinguish between imagination and reality. So there's nothing more powerful than relaxing deeply, going into meditation state, and visualizing. You get all the benefits for brain health, and you actually are creating your future when you do that. So I think I couldn't stress that enough. All right, number 3 is aerobic exercise. What's interesting about this one is that the exercise has to actually be aerobic. What I mean is it's got to be rigorous. It can't just be going for a stroll. You can even go for a stroll for an hour. I'm not saying it's not good for you, it's good. But for a healthy brain, it really has to be aerobic. It's found that vigorous exercise actually strengthens every part of the brain. That's fantastic. That's amazing. It's also very good for the body. They've found that if you do vigorous exercise, that you actually lengthen your life. How much? Well, the more exercise and the more vigorous, the better. So do whatever suits you. Studies have shown that exercise is also seen as a kind of form of meditation, because you have to concentrate, you have to, regulate body movements, you've got to focus on your breathing. It starts to cause you to relax, and also a form of spiritual well-being. Vigorous stretching, which kind of borders with aerobic, but vigorous stretching such as yoga is also very good for the brain. It's got a lot of cognitive benefits. It can also lower risk of cardiovascular disease, helps control diabetes, helps the severity of menopausal symptoms, reduces chronic back pain, reduces headaches. All forms of exercise enhance neural performance in the brain. And hear this, they actually rebuild damaged circuits. So if anyone's had a stroke or any form of brain lesions, any damage to the brain circuitry, aerobic exercise actually rebuilds it. It also improves a person's academic performance. That's why it's so good for children, is to have a regular exercise. It helps them just with their academic performance and their cognitive ability. Also, we spoke about the brain in the beginning being neuroplastic, so it enhances neuroplasticity to exercise. It also boosts the immune system, reduces anxiety, and aerobic exercise can, as I said before, can be used to treat clinical depression. It's so effective in treating depression that it's as effective as antidepressant tablets. Antidepressant medication, as effective. That's very, very powerful. Then you ask yourself, why on earth do people take that stuff? Because it numbs your emotions and keeps you kind of in this, this limbo kind of place where you don't really feel too much of anything. That's what antidepressants does. It changes the brain chemistry. It's really, really bad. So if you could do aerobic exercise and it's just as effective, then really do that, because you really help the brain become healthier and got no negative side effects. People with Alzheimer's, there's been a relationship with lack of exercise and Alzheimer's disease. This has been scientifically proven. So if you do exercise, it can protect you potentially from getting Alzheimer's. So they reckon a 40-minute cardio workout every other day. That means cardio. Your heart rate must go up. You do need to concentrate. It's got to be a little bit strenuous, and you do need to sweat. Exercise is the single best thing you can do for your brain in terms of mood, memory, and learning. Definitely mood. If you're not feeling very happy or you're having a very grumpy, bad day, do some exercise. You'll feel better immediately. It's quite amazing. Okay, number 2 is dialogue with others. So they found that dialogue obviously requires you to be in a social situation. That social ties, the more social ties we have, the less our cognitive abilities decline. So basically, cognitive ability and social ties are directly related. So people who have more friends and more social interaction have better brain health, especially as they go into old age. Now, what's really interesting is that we've just come through this coronavirus isolation thing pretty much all over the world. And in this book, which was written a while ago, says, any form of social isolation will damage important mechanisms in the brain, leading to aggression, depression, and various neuropsychiatric disorders. Without dialogue, we would not be able to cooperate with others, and without cooperation, human behavior rapidly deteriorates into conflict. Interesting. So I just say thank God that we've got FaceTime, Zoom, Skype. If you're in isolation, have been, contact your buddies and your family and stay in contact, converse with people, really important. If you can't do it face-to-face, at least still do it. The other thing about dialogue with others is they say that when you talk about abstract ideas, like really interesting things, talk about world peace or harmony or something like that, deeper levels, not idle gossip. That does nothing for the brain. It's got to be something where you're really conceptualizing things, thinking, like imagining what the world would be like 100 years from now, anything that stimulates the brain to think. It also says that when it comes to dialogue with others, if we're interacting in negative dialogue or angry dialogue, let's say you have something bad happen to you and you're so angry and you find a friend and now you want to have a pity party and start having this angry discussion about how unhappy you are, and you get all excited and they get more angry and you're angry together and you're all irritable. If you put the person under a brain scan at that moment, you actually find that your brain becomes damaged. It's the terrible fMRI scan picture you can ever look at is an angry brain. It's really awful and the brain gets damaged. So just remember that, calmness and serenity is a form of beautiful medication in itself. It's good for the brain, it's good for the heart, it's good for the mind, it's good for the body, it's good for everything. Calmness. So try to avoid angry conversation. I love this quote, great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people. One of the best things you can do if you have people in your life who discuss people is to just tell them that you've committed to not talk about people unless you're saying something positive about them. Otherwise, don't discuss people. It's like really low conversation. Because gossip is really comparison. That's what gossip is. It's talking in a way that you make yourself better than someone else. And again, on the levels of character, that's also relatively down there. So get out of that habit. And if people are doing that, walk away. And if they want to know why you left, tell them you're not interested in talking about someone if they're not present. It's just a good habit to take. Gossip is a very bad habit. I encourage anyone, if you do it or know people, is to try and help people to stop that. Right, the number one thing for the brain, who would have ever thought, is faith. That's why the title of the book, How God Changes Your Brain. It doesn't actually matter what the religion is or what the person believes in. This happens to say God because it's a catchy title. But faith. Now, this can also be a synonym for these other concepts. It could be hope. Oops, someone else just joined. Hold on a second. Okay. It could be hope. It could also be optimism. It could also be belief in a positive future. So faith, what is faith? So trusting your beliefs, that's faith. Now, when it comes to faith, the truth is we can never be 100% sure about anything. You can't be 100% sure about God, really, because you can't touch it. Can't touch, or there's no five senses thing. So there's got to be an element of belief without any proof around for you. Now, we can't be sure about even what we see in this world, I have to say that, because even color isn't real. Did you know that? Color is a perception that happens in the brain, and if something is blue, it means it absorbs all the colors of the rainbow and reflects blue. So the only thing that it's not is blue, and what it's reflected is the color you see. So color is a perception. It's actually an illusion. It's like you use your imagination to see color. So if that's how we see, and we can't really believe or trust that exactly what we're seeing is really what it is, then, when it comes to something like God, then you got to really be honest, like, we can't prove anything. So that's what faith is. So faith is such a strong belief that you've come to actually trust in something. And it's the number one thing for the brain. Just think about that. It's something that you can't prove, but to have that feeling of faith, to have that trust, is the most powerful thing to improve your brain health. It says, you got to be spiritually inclined, you have to have faith. Even if you don't believe in God, you must rely on your intuition and faith to guide you, because there's going to be times in your life that you won't know which way to turn, and something has to guide you. So faith and your intuition will. The interesting thing, and we all know this, if you don't have faith, what do we suffer from? We suffer from doubt. We suffer from fear. The opposite of fear, I have to say, is faith. Because if there's faith, you love something, love and fear are the two opposite emotions. But if you have faith, you can conquer your fear. In the book, A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who was in the Second World War, and he wrote the book, A Man's Search for Meaning. In that book, he said the single most important thing that kept a survivor alive in the concentration camps was faith. Faith in an optimistic future can also have a placebo effect, and we know that that works. So just having an optimistic view of the future can make you create, which makes sense, an optimistic future. Research shows that positive thinking will decrease stress, makes sense. It helps you resist getting sick. It reduces your risk of heart disease. It eases your breathing. It helps you improve your coping skills. Faith is essential in maintaining a healthy brain. However, if you exclude exercise and companionship, you're going to cripple your health. So the best advice is to nurture all three: faith, exercise, companionship. Those are the most important things you can do for a healthy brain. The other thing about combining faith and meditation is that meditation undermines everyday doubts, and anxiety is kind of reduced. So when we think about what we want to achieve in our lives and we do meditate, we remove all that doubt. We somehow have more faith just from meditating alone. And when you do believe in something, so faith can be a belief in God or whatever spiritual higher power. It can be belief in your purpose. It can be belief in yourself. There's all levels of what you can believe in. Okay. This was, when I wrote my book, I put this somewhere in the book in the chapter of faith. I do believe that faith is the power principle of all time. And I say that because whenever in life you see a miracle, everywhere, any story you'll ever read, it always involved enormous faith. The only way something is ever a miracle, it means it defies logic, it defies reason. it defies science. That's a miracle. And wherever you find a miracle, you'll find enormous faith. So when I say it's the power principle of all time, it's interesting I've got the word power there. I should probably put power in a capital P, because faith is the borrowing of a power you believe in that's greater than you. That's faith. So for me, I'm a person of faith. I believe in God. For me, it's God. God is all-powerful. So when I have faith, I'm borrowing the power of God that's much greater than me, and that gives me my strength. So when I get that strength, I'm getting empowered from another form of power into me, like it's fueling me. Now I have more confidence. Now I have less fear. Now I have less doubt in myself. I can achieve far greater things with faith. When the slightest form of doubt comes and I go back to my faith, I'm immediately boosted up and I can cope with things. So it's the power principle in all achievement, in all good health, in all peace, in all good business, even in a good night's sleep. There's power in that. Faith is when you believe so strongly in something, you're literally molding the energy with your thoughts about it, because you won't waver when there's strong faith. And desire, belief, and expectancy are the three things that is in the Silver Method. We say desire plus belief plus expectancy is faith. When you know something, you don't just believe it, you know it's going to happen. That's faith. The other quote that I read once, I love it more than anything. It says, faith is not belief without proof. It's trust without reservation. Trust without reservation. I love that. Okay. As we're ending off, I just thought I'd like to end off with these principles of affirmation, or the power of positive thinking, you can call it. So really, use your creative imagination. Set your dream into action. Know what it is that you really want to achieve. Everything starts with your imagination. If you can't imagine a specific goal, then you can't figure out how you're going to make it come true. So you have to use your imagination. When the doubt kicks in, the more you keep your mind focused on your optimistic belief of success, the more you will inhibit the functioning of your limbic brain that generates doubt and fear. If people suffer from anxiety, they have more difficulty in suppressing their doubts and fears because they keep activating that doubt and fear part of their brain. So people like that who suffer from anxiety or suffer from doubt or fear, my advice to you is have an intense regime of meditation every single day, at least twice a day, even if it's for just 15 minutes. An intense meditation regime. You will overcome your anxiety. I promise you, regardless of what's going on in your life, you will slowly but surely reverse your anxiety until you're a person who's calm. The next thing is, for your goal to be set into motion, you have to concentrate on what you want to achieve. Concentration is essential to suppress that self-doubt. It's so important. You've got to become motivated so that you actually take the action. You actually have to tell other people about it. That's why it says 2 heads are better than 1. Then you've got to actually offer these people you're talking to about it, offer them to participate in your goal. You can't do it alone. You need people's help. And then, best of all, is the magic comes when others feel and sense your optimism, your excitement about your project. Then what happens, you've got mirror neurons going on. So similar circuits in the brain are resonating the same as yours. They're like mirroring each other. So get excited. Feel the emotion of it. The longer you focus or meditate on your goal, the more real it begins to feel for you. And then, when you're doing that, you're actually altering your brain circuitry. And you're wiring it into a place where this that you want to achieve is so fixed, like a belief. There's no other way. Your actions will be in accordance with that. Your thoughts will be in accordance of that. Your attitude will be in accordance with that. And that's how you go from what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. Goal achievement begins with a belief that you can succeed. You've got to create a new belief, and the best way to create a new belief, oops, sorry. Just want to let someone else in. The best way to create a new belief is to visualize with emotion. Meditate on it, visualize with emotion on what you desire, and immerse yourself in those positive emotions and those positive images. And then take the action. The other thing is, when you want to achieve something, the good thing about telling people about it is there's something that we are wired neurologically to actually want to help each other. So if someone asks for help, it's very, very, very unlikely that someone will say no. It's just an interesting thing how human beings are wired. So when you want to achieve something, tell people about it and ask them for help, and ask them who else do they know that can help you. They will give you names and they will connect you with people, and then you'll have a whole network to help you achieve whatever it is. So never feel alone in this world. Always use that kind of network, and then expect that your goal will come true. Have faith in it. Believe in yourself. Believe in the goal. And when every time you doubt, go back to something like a vision board, or you write something down that you can keep your positive belief. Okay. So just in summary, these are the 8 best ways to maintain a healthy brain from 1 to 8. Number 1 is faith. Number 2, good dialogue with others, not talking about people, but intellectual concepts. Exercise, meditation, yawn, don't forget to yawn. Consciously relax. I suggest do the long relax from the Silver Method. It's the best and easiest thing to do. It's guided. Stay intellectually active. If you don't know how to play chess, start learning or play some stimulating game, strategy games. And last but not least, smile, guys. Keep a good smile on your face. Okay. If there are any questions or comments, please just unmute your mics and interrupt me. Just start talking if you want to say anything. Otherwise, I'm going to prepare us for our meditation. So just quickly, before we get into the meditation, just a reminder.
Jenny, you listen
Yes.
to, can you hear me?
Yes?
Just last summary, the best 8 ways to, that I was writing. Can you, yeah, just a minute, please.
Okay. So upcoming events. So the Silver Method was postponed because of the social distancing. It's booked for July, but what I want to say is I have a feeling that the ban or whatever it's called will be lifted earlier, and if it is, we'll bring the whole event forward. Maybe even in May. It may be as soon as that. They're lessening the restrictions somewhat, so as long as the numbers don't go up of contagious people, we could have it earlier, so I'll definitely let people know. The other thing is I've got a mastermind for kids coming up. If anybody's got children between 12 and 18, it's called Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn for teenagers. It's one of the best masterminds you could put a child through. It helps them deal with change, not to avoid their problems, but to actually solve their problems, to deal with failure, to deal with making mistakes, disappointment, things like that, because they do suffer from stress and how to cope. So that's the one. And then there's another mastermind coming up. If anybody wants to book in, it's Think and Grow Rich 2020.
Janine, the mastermind for teens, is that online?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is online because only the child pays, but the parent must attend, but they don't pay. So the parents learn just as much as the kids, trust me, and many of them need to learn. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. But the parent needs to sit with the child for 2 reasons. One, you need to know what they're learning so that you're also aware, because if you don't model that behavior, you can't expect your child to learn that behavior. And parents do learn a lot. Like even complaining or having a victim mentality, children adopt the same mentality. So
Oh, it's okay. Thank you.
Pleasure. So when parents join, it's just to keep them accountable, know what they're learning, and to model the behavior and to reinforce it.
And is that on your website?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pleasure. So I've done that one with teens before, and the kids change, and that's a good thing because learning is demonstrated through actual change. If they don't change, they haven't learned. They need to change behavior. It's about taking full responsibility, learning from every failure, not getting diminished. Instead of breaking self-esteem, this is about building confidence and empowering the kid. So the most important thing you can do to empower them for a future, because I wouldn't want to be a teenager in this day and age. The world changes so fast that if we don't know how to deal with it, we could shrink and become depressed, and that's just very scary. All right, so, whoops. And then Silver Kids, just contact me if you want to know. The dates keep changing because of all the restrictions, but it looks like it's October. All right, for those who've never joined Meaningful Monday before, excuse me, please get a pen and paper handy. We're going to do a meditation now just for 15 minutes, but we're going to ask some questions at the end, and you're going to write your answers down. And you'll find when you're in a deep, relaxed state and you ask these questions, you kind of get answers from your own intuition or your higher self. So grab a pen and paper.
What for?
For the meditation. You're gonna write in this meditation. Whoops. Okay. Someone just put a chat. If you want to enroll your daughter, thank you very much in the mastermind. Just book online if you wouldn't mind, or call me tomorrow. But book online is the best. If you can do that, thank you very much, Kalyan. That'll be awesome. And I've met your daughter, so it'll be awesome, really awesome. So thank you. All right, so let's just make yourself comfortable. There's another chat. Just 1 second, people.
Omar, a guided meditation doing? Okay.
Okay, I'm going to mute your microphones now. So find yourself a comfortable position. Hold a pen and paper comfortably in your hand. You'll only use it towards the end. So just relax comfortably, close your eyes, and take a nice deep belly breath in. And as you exhale, allow the tensions in your body to release and dissolve and float away. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, begin to feel your body relaxing. We're going to relax your body now from head to toe. Relax your scalp. Feel the tension leaving your scalp. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes. Relax your cheeks. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, just relax. Relax your tongue and jaw. Relax your neck and your shoulders. Take another deep breath, and as you exhale, relax your arms all the way down to your hands. Breathe deeply, slowly, and rhythmically. Now relax your back. Feel the tension leaving your back from your neck all the way down to the bottom of your spine. Relax your chest. Take another nice deep breath, and as you exhale, relax your abdomen. Relax your hips and pelvic area. Relax your thighs. Relax your knees. Relax your calves. Relax your feet. All the way down to your toes. You are now experiencing a deep state of relaxation. You're now going to create in your mind your ideal place of relaxation. It can be real or imagined, somewhere that you've been or somewhere that you'd like to go. Just allow it to be a place where you feel totally relaxed. Begin to experience this place of relaxation now. Take your time. Now that you've created your ideal place of relaxation, you're going to add a waterfall of white light into the scene. Place it wherever you choose. The waterfall is gentle, allowing you to stand under the cascading white light. This cascading white light is a healing energy, a clearing energy. Your waterfall of light is now created. Walk over to the waterfall and stand under this white healing light. Allow the white light to swirl around you, encompassing you within its glow. This white light is clearing all the stress, all the tension, and all the clutter of not only the day, the past week, the past month, even the past year. It's clearing the stress and tension of the lifetime from your energy field, from your entire atmosphere, from your aura. As the light clears your energy field, just notice how much happier you look. Notice the smile on your face. See how the weights you've been carrying are no longer a burden. Notice how your energy field is expanding out as you are radiating love. This waterfall of light is always available to you, whenever you need it. All you need to do is close your eyes, imagine your ideal place of relaxation, and immerse yourself in this healing white light. Now take a deep breath, relax and go deeper, and repeat these beneficial statements to yourself mentally. Every day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. Positive thoughts, suggestions, and images bring me benefits and advantages I desire. I will always maintain a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. See yourself maintaining a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. The following statements are for your better health. Keep in mind, from now on, I will be speaking in your place. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every cell, tissue, organ, and system of my body is revitalized, restored, and renewed, resulting in a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. I'm able to function in harmony physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to promote maximum benefits. My awareness in using my mind allows me to do activities that promote increased health physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now imagine the white light turns to green. You are now immersed in a glowing green light. This green light is unconditional love. This love surrounds you. It encompasses you. It flows through your entire being. It fills you with love. All the hurts you felt, all the pains you felt, the angry moments, allow this green light, this unconditional love, to heal all those spaces now. You are an amazing human being. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve abundance. And you deserve peace. See yourself receiving all these qualities. It is now time to step out of the waterfall. Step out of the waterfall of light. Your energy field is now clean and clear. You are centered and energized. You are able to think more clearly, focus more easily. You are in the flow of universal love and energy. Just take a moment to now bask in this feeling of connectedness. You have now reset your body and mind for the month ahead. It is now time to set your intention for the month ahead. Tune in now to your higher wisdom or your higher self. I'm going to count from 10 to 1. When I reach the count of 1, you will have tuned into your higher self, your intuition or inner wisdom, the part of you that, if you tuned in, guides you and intuitively knows what is best for you. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are now tuned in to the part of you that intuitively knows what is best for you. Feel the alignment with your higher self. Feel the connection. And now ask yourself the following question, and whatever answer comes to you, write down your first impressions. Don't analyze anything. The first question: what do I need to focus on for the month of May? Write whatever comes to you down, and then take a deep breath, close your eyes and go back into meditation. What do I need to focus on for the month of May? The second question, ask yourself, what steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? Whatever comes to mind, write it down. Don't judge anything, just your first impressions. When you finish writing, take a breath, close your eyes and go back into meditation. The third question, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of? And the last question, what else do I need to know or do? Is there anything else? What else do I need to know or do? Anything else? Whatever comes to mind, write it down. Now allow a deep breath, and as you exhale, relax. Slowly bring your attention back into your body Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. I want to count from 1 to 5. At the count of 5, you'll open your eyes, feel wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. 1, 2, coming out slowly now. 3, at the count of 5, you'll open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. Okay, welcome back everyone. Thank you so much. Let's unmute the mic so I can hear you. Did you have a good meditation?
Yes.
Yes, it was
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes.
Amazing.
Good. Did you get some answers?
Yes.
Yes. Indications, ideas, steps.
Wow. Excellent.
Yes. Some guidance.
Some guidance. Fantastic. Good. So just remember, whatever answers you got in the alpha level, which you were when you were relaxed like that, you can trust them. Trust them. They're from your higher self. And the more important thing is definitely act on them. Otherwise, you're given a gift and then you don't use the gift. So definitely use that. So just a reminder, next...
Okay, good night, everybody.
Okay. Got some talking going on. I'm not sure who that is. Good night, whoever that is.
Good night.
Good night to that.
So next month is raising your vibration. Just that you know what we're doing next month. All right, people. Thank you so much. I'm going to end the recording.
Sorry, one moment before you go, while everyone has a pen and paper, can you just tell me, because I've got a friend that's interested for her kids for the mastermind for children. So must they go to, must they go to Janine Shaka International?
Yes, they can either contact me or they can just go to the website. It's JanineShakaInternational.com. So people will know my name because they booked for this thing. So you know the website, I'm sure. And on there, under the events, you'll find the Kids Mastermind. And if you have any questions, just contact me, call me, text me. Everyone here knows how to get hold of me, I'm sure. Thank you for the question. Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Janine.
Thank you,
Thank
Dolly.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks, Janine.
Leon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yolanta. Thank you.
Thanks, Janine.
Thank you. Thanks, Janine.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you for your lovely smile, Yolanta. I've been watching it the whole night. And
You're
Alianda.
welcome.
Yeah, and Jayanti. The rest I can't see any faces. Thank you.